Everybody, JC here with another TNI toy review. And for today's review, I'm going to be taking a look at the upcoming Batman the Animated Series 6-inch Batman Beyond 3-pack from DC Collectibles. Now this set includes 3 figures based on the Batman the Beyond animated series. We get the Terry McGinnis Batman, we get Bruce Wayne as an old man, and then Bruce Wayne's dog Ace. Now this set comes packaged in a similar style of packaging that we've seen with all the Batman the Animated Series figures. You've got the window box. Now with this one you have the Batman Beyond logo down below. Off to the side you've got the names of the characters. It tells us this is number 38 in the series. On the very side of the packaging, on one side it tells us the figures were sculpted by Irene Matar. On the other side we just have some Batman Beyond artwork. And then on the back of the packaging we have more artwork for Batman Beyond. All right, let's get this open and take a look at what's inside. So here's a look at the figures outside the packaging along with the other contents. Now, first of all, let me just say a big thanks to DC Collectibles for sending this set out to me early so I could review it for you guys. Now, the figure does come with an instruction sheet that shows you how to work the accessories, the wings, and everything. And then you also get a little catalog scan that shows you other figures that have been released or will be released in the Batman the Animated Series line. Both Batman Beyond and Bruce Wayne come with the figure stands like we see with all the Batman the Animated Series. They've got the white base with the turnaround images of the characters, and then you've got the clear arms that you can do up and down, and you can do forward and back, and it's just the clamp arm, so it clamps around the waist of the figures. And you can see it keeps the figure standing pretty good. Bruce Wayne figure comes with the walking stick that you see him have in all the episodes, and it's done with just a gray plastic, and you've got the little wide end at the base here, so it looks pretty accurate to what we see in the cartoon. And as long as you have one of the grip hands in, he'll hold the cane pretty good, and it's a good size for the figure. Bruce Wayne comes with 3 different pairs of hands, so you get a pair of closed-fisted hands, you get a pair of grip hands for holding the cane, and then you get a pair of open hands. The Batman Beyond figure comes with a Batarang, one of the futuristic looking Batarangs you see him use in the cartoon, and it does look pretty cartoon accurate. It's done with just a thin piece of plastic. It's pretty hard. You've got the red on the tips on the outer parts of the wings, and then the rest is just done with a black plastic. And as long as you have one of the grip hands in, he'll hold the Batarang nice and tight. The Batman Beyond figure comes with 4 different pairs of hands, so you get a pair of closed-fisted hands, you get a pair of grip hands for holding the Batarangs, you get a pair of open hands with the fingers kind of all straight out for flight poses, and then you get a pair of just normal open hands. Switching out the hands is easy on these figures. You just pull off the hand you want to replace, you've got the peg on the hand and the hole in the arm, and then you just plug in the hand you want to replace it with, and they slide right in there and fit nice and tight. Batman also comes with the wings that you see him use in the cartoon. So these are articulated. They're done with pretty thin plastic. They're red on one side and black on the other side. And the wings basically connect here on the sides. You've got this main piece that fits on the back, and then you've got the wings themselves that are articulated with these little ball hinge type joints. Now I do want to recommend caution. The plastic for these joints is pretty, it's hard, and I could see you easily being able to snap it if you bent it the wrong way. So just use caution when you're bending or trying to pose the wings. But the wings, again, are articulated, so you can put them in different positions and you can turn them. So it's pretty cool system the way they've done it. And I'll show you it on the actual figure here in a second. So to attach the wings on the figure, what you do is there's a hole in the back of the figure, and you've got the peg on the wings themselves, and you just plug the peg in there, and it fits nice and tight. And then, as I said, you can pose the wings in multiple type positions. So you can have the wings kind of just open, which is what you would have for like flight poses. And then you can, pose them in various different types of positions. Now, there's not really a good way. I haven't found there's a good way to really kind of pose the wings so that they're like closed up without basically just taking the wings off, which I think is what it's meant to do. When he didn't have the wings open for flight, you really didn't see him that much. There were occasionally where you would see him down on his arms, but you can't really mimic that with these. that's about as close as you can get it. And again, that's not really how it looked in the cartoon. So if you want it to look like he doesn't have the wings, then the best thing to do is just to remove the back piece altogether. So the final thing this set comes with is Ace, Bruce Wayne's dog. And I don't know if you want to consider this an actual figure or just a pack-in accessory, but either way, I think it looks pretty true to how he appeared in the cartoon. And this is actually articulated. You can move the legs back and forth, both the front and the back legs. And then the tail you can kind of wag to the left and to the right. And for the head, you can move up here, you can move back and forth and a bit up and down. It would have been cool maybe if they'd made the jaw articulated so you could have him in like a growling pose. But as it is, I do think it looks pretty accurate to how he appeared in the cartoon. He's got the collar with the brown and the gray little stubby spikes. So I think, again, it looks pretty true. And that's the collar's just sculpted on there. It's not a separate piece. So for both figures, I think both figures look really nice. They look very cartoon accurate. The sculpting detail, especially on the Bruce Wayne figure, I think looks really good. I like the face sculpt on Bruce Wayne. Now, if you're not familiar with Batman Beyond, then basically it was a separate cartoon from Batman the Animated Series that took place years after Batman the Animated Series, set in the same universe and everything, voiced by the same people and stuff. And basically now Bruce Wayne is much older, really too old to be out crime fighting. So he takes on an apprentice, Terry McGinnis, and gives him this somewhat futuristic looking bat suit that has greater abilities. If I remember correctly, super strength, and then he's got the flight power, which is more of a gliding type thing, but he definitely glides and kind of flies around more than the original Batman did. And it's basically just a black suit with the red bat symbol. And I think Bruce Wayne wore this suit for like a very brief time before he basically retired from being Batman. So, again, it's very true. Both figures, I think, look very true to what we saw in the cartoon. For Bruce Wayne, like I said before, I really like the face sculpt. I think they captured the look of Bruce Wayne very nicely with it. And then he's just got that kind of gray shirt underneath, and he's got the coat. The coat piece is done with a vinyl material, and it is a separate piece. Now, the sleeves of the coat are actually sculpted on there, and you wouldn't really be able to remove it. It feels like it's glued on there, but it is an actual separate piece, and it's that kind of vinyl rubber material. Then he's just got the black pants, and that's just sculpted, and then he's got the kind of black dress shoes on. And then for Batman, this is a very basic design. It's primarily just an all-black suit, and you've got the big red bat symbol on his chest, which I think looks good here, and that's actually sculpted. It's not just painted. He's got the white eyes and the white mouth, and that's cartoon accurate, and he's got the really big pointy ears, so I think that looks good. And he's got the little things that stick out on the sides of his wrists or lower arms. He's got the gray belt with the little red circle on the belt buckle, and then the rest of the costume is just all black. So the scale between these three figures seems to be pretty good. Batman stands at about just under 6 inches tall. Bruce Wayne is the tallest, as he should be, and he stands at about 6¼ inches tall. Terry McGinnis was a teenager when he first started being Batman, and then Ace is about 3¼ inches tall if you count to the tip of his ears. Here's a comparison of Bruce Wayne and Batman Beyond with the Batman the Animated Series Batman figure. And then here's a comparison with a few other Batman the Animated Series figures. So we've got Nightwing. And honestly, I don't remember what the status of Dick Grayson, the Dick Grayson character, was in this timeline. I don't recall. And then we've got Joker and then poor Tim Drake. So articulation is pretty standard for what we've seen in this line. You can turn the head to the left and to the right. He can look down a little bit. He can look up about that much. You can pivot the head to the left and the right as well. Arms attached with your standard ball hinge joint so you can get his arm out pretty good. And he can rotate pretty good. The shoulder kind of comes out, so you kind of have to do it kind of out and around, but you can still rotate it around. He does not have a bicep swivel. He does have a swivel at the elbow, just a single hinged elbow, so he can bend his elbow about that much. You've got the swivels at the wrist, and you've got the hinges on the hand, so you've got some up and down movement there. He's got a waist swivel. He's got those side hinge joints for the legs, so he can do the splits about that much. He can get his leg forward about that much, and he can do his leg back pretty good. And he does not have a thigh swivel, single hinged knee, so he can bend his knee about that much, and no real rotation there at the knee. And then you've got the hinges on the feet, and no, well, he's got a little bit of ankle pivot with this one, so you can pivot there, but no rotation, and no peg holes on the bottom of the feet. And then articulation on Bruce Wayne, you can turn the head to the left and to the right. He really can't look down very much, just straight ahead. He can look up about that much. You can also pivot the head to the left and the right. Arms attached with your standard ball hinge joint at the shoulder, so you can get his arm out good, and he's got good rotation there. Just be careful you don't stretch out that vinyl material of the coat piece too much. And then he does not have a bicep swivel. Single hinged elbow, so it can only bend his elbow about that much. Does have rotation there at the elbow. Swivels at the wrist. Hinges on the hand, so up and down movement there. Has a waist swivel, so he's got rotation. Those side hinge joints, now the coat piece comes down over the legs a bit, so he can only do the splits about that much. And then he can get his leg forward about that much. And he can do his leg back about that much. Does not have a thigh swivel. Single hinge knee, so can bend his knee about that much. Does not have rotation at the knee, and then has rotation at the feet, and really doesn't have any up or down movement, just has the rotation. And again, no peg holes on the bottom of the feet. Okay, so that's my review. So overall, I really like the set. I think if you've been collecting the Batman the Animated Series or just a fan of Batman Beyond, this is definitely one that you're going to want to check out. Now, this set is slated for release next month in February. We'll have a full image gallery up at toynewseye.com. There'll be a link in the video description below. As always, leave a comment. Let us know what you think. If you're so inclined, please like the video. Also, if you haven't already, please follow me on my Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram accounts. I'll have links to those in the video description below. And until next time, I'll catch you later.